Yo, what is going on, homies? It's your boy StumpD back from the OPTC video, and in today's video, I have a very late one for you guys, as I have been at work all day, but we are diving in to the 15-star Super Boss Kazuna against Tot Musica, otherwise known as UTA. And in today's video, we're breaking down sort of the stages, as well as my initial teams for this particular event. So, obviously, with the start of this event, teams do change, lots of different stuff comes out, and this is sort of what we have put together by talking to a lot of people. So I do want to give a huge shout out to some guys like Papi, Todd, Venge in chat today. The GOATs as always. Look, you guys know who you are, so I appreciate the hell out of all of you guys. One of the teams I did get wind of from Snowman. I'll leave the link to his stuff in the description below. He's a Japanese player, a very, very good Japanese player, and a very well-known Japanese player at that. He kind of just made that Kaido team that I was sort of working on just that much better, and it works like an absolute dreamboat. But if you enjoyed this video, if it helps you guys out, make sure to belt the like button for me. If you are new to the channel, you haven't done so already, hit that big red subscribe button. With that said, let's take a dive in to Super Boss Kazuna against UTA. Alright, so we're going to start off against the Int variation of UTA, and the team I've put together utilizes Super Tandem Luffy with the new Super Snake Man Luffy, activating a Super Type and a Super Class. So that's the team. Those are the supports. Let's dive on in. Now, all of these Super Boss variations have 8 turns of attack down, which is very annoying to get around, and a character that's very, very good for that is the waifu, or Nami, Robin, and Boa unit. For this particular team, we are utilizing them to remove the paralysis and the attack down, and you can actually stall out for their special by utilizing the Brûlé support, which works very, very nicely. And if you have them, like, you don't even need them limit break expanded for this particular team, because with the Brûlé support, you actually get the cooldowns, and it works very, very nicely. However, you do need to stall the 4 turns on the turtles, as you do need a ship that gives you cooldowns. You need, obviously, the Super Tandem Luffy to give you cooldowns, and all those other shenanigans as well, and it works out pretty nicely from there. Once you've done that, you can move on to the second stage against Frankie. And against Frankie, he puts up a... What does he do, actually? He gives you 2 turns of despair after your sockets. He rolls back your specials, and he locks them for 3 goods. So, from this point on, you actually can't get special cooldowns. And this is why you kind of need to utilize Luffy as your captain, as well as use the Super Tandem Luffy to give cooldowns as well. But on this particular stage, we're just going to pop our Super Snake Man special. With that, we can actually get a 3.25 times attack boost. And then if you get lucky with Tandem Orbs, you can easily take out Frankie then, no issues whatsoever. Once we move into the final stage against Tot Musica herself, she's going to give us 8 turns of attack down, which is very annoying. She does like a 30% HP cut and gives us a full board of unfavorable orbs. And remember, you still don't have those special cooldowns. You get 1 turn of paralysis as well, so it's very, very finicky there. However, the waifu special basically just takes care of all of those nasty debuffs. However, we do need to get our specials back, so we are going to activate the Super Type of Snake Man to give us 2 turns of cooldowns. And then with that, we can remove the paralysis and the attack down thanks to the waifu unit. They're also going to give us a 2.5 times color affinity boost to our Free Spirit and our Striker characters. That'll activate our Luffy's captain ability to give his special back. We can utilize his special to give us a 3.25 times attack boost. Switch with Sop Sop so we get the 30% resistance for Free Spirit and shooters, and then use their special for a guaranteed 2.25 times conditional boost, 1,250 base stats, and with the support of Brook, we can also get the chain multiplicative buff. Then we can use Yamato for a chain boost. She gives us 1 orbs as well, and the 1.75 extra damage down, as Uta is actually not immune to additional damage. Then we can go with our Super Tandem Luffy special to give us a 3.25 orb boost, activate his Super Class to make that a 3.5 times orb boost, and then we can finish it off with Sanji. Sanji gives us a chain boundary from 2.25, going all the way up to 35 times, and with that, we have a Super Class, we have a Super Type, and we have a Super Tandem, which works out very nicely. We can activate it because we have a Sanji on the team, and we have a full Free Spirit team. And then basically with this team, like, I can't really show you all the damage because, like, it sort of caps out right here. We don't really get to see what Sop Sop and the final tap of Yamato is going to do. However, it does work pretty nicely. I do have some other ideas for another sort of team, but we'll have to wait and see how that goes. But for now, this is what we're rocking. Let's move on to the next team. Alright, so before we dive in, I do want to give a huge shout out to Snowman. This was his basic team comp. However, I did tweak it just a little bit for the video. I didn't really want to sort of like straight copy his team, so I thought I'd give some different options here. I actually replaced Page 1 Ulti, who he has on his team, with X-Drake. X-Drake can give a higher chain boundary, however, you get a lower conditional boost. And with this particular team, you do need to stall. With Snowman's team, I think we sort of tweaked it a little bit in chat as well. Because you don't actually need the Kaido special with Snowman's team. You can use the Shark Superb, which works out very, very nicely. And I think that does a little bit more damage than what this team does. However, I'm not 100% sure because I actually stuffed this run up and I didn't actually tap with my UTA. My UTA has final tap level 5, where my friend Captain only had final tap level 4. So I did a bit of a yikes there, but nevertheless, it didn't matter too much. I also stuffed up because I didn't activate UTA special on turn 1. So because you need to stall for my team variation, it's very annoying because you should be activating UTA special right now, but I totally forgot to do that, and I actually moved on to the next stage. And I got very frustrated with myself because when you're doing these super boss runs, you don't want to waste super boss tokens, so it just got very, very annoying. And at this particular point, I was just going to leave, I was just going to quit, but I was like, you know what, I've already used boss tokens, I'll just move on. On stage 2 against Oven, you get 1 turn of attack down, and the support of Neko works really, really well here. So you can actually remove that, which works nicely, because Chopper's not actually getting buffed under Kaido. All of the damage is based around Uta on the final stage. So Uta, with her special, can give us a chain boost and a full board of Int Orbs. So we can take out Oven very easily, and then with the super type of Uta, we can actually give us super cerebral characters, and then with Kaido we have super strikers, and then we also have the plus buff. So when we move into the final stage, we should have a 3.25 times attack boost and a 2.75 times orb boost, ideally. But for this run, I only have a 3 times attack boost and a 2.5 times orb boost because I kind of goofed. But nevertheless, you can remove all the attack down thanks to the Brook support on Robin Jinbei. They give you 1000 base stats, which works great, and then you get the chain multiplicative buff. You then have a color affinity buff with Chopper for your cerebral units. We have chain boundary with X-Drake. You have 50% resistance debuff on the enemy, which works out very, very nicely. And then with Kaido, you can get the conditional buff, as well as the Wano slots on your captains, and the super tandem thanks to X-Drake as well. With your tap timing, you do want to start with Robin Jinbei and Chopper, because they are literally getting no extra buff from Kaido. So the basic reason that they're here is just to sort of give us extra buff, so Uta hits ridiculously hard. And as you guys will see here, we're sort of just tapping away. Ideally, I should have tapped with my Uta last for the final tap level 5, but if you bring a friend captain level 5, you are going to do some significant damage here. Plus, you should have an extra 0.25 to your attack and your orb boost here. But without that and all of my goofs, I still managed to do 17.7 billion damage. So, once again, shout out to Snowman for the team comp, basically. Like I said, page 1 ulti is another really good option instead of X-Drake if you're missing X-Drake. And then you can utilize the Shark Superb there. Remember, Kaido needs to be 10 to level, super 10 to level 5. It is what it is, but let's move on to the next team. And the final team of the video is against the strength variation of Uta, and the team looks a little bit like this. So those are the team those are the support. Wow, what's hard? That's the team. Those are the supports. Let's dive on in. Now I do have something else cooking for this particular variation. But this is the team that I initially put together. So I am going to showcase this one right here. So we are using the combination of Law and Shanks, getting the super type of Shanks and the super class of Law, which means that cerebral characters are going to be hitting significantly harder for this particular team, as well as quick characters hitting very, very hard as well. On turn 1 for this particular comp, we're using the Hakuba support on our Uta, and that way we can actually get an attack buff, which means we can then activate Law's Super Tandem on turn 1. The reason we actually want to do that on turn 1 is so that way we get the conditional boost moving into stage 2, and we don't have it carried into stage 3 when we actually want Usopp and Yasop's conditional boost there. So we're basically going to activate that now. It's going to help us take out stage 2 as well. And for this particular team, if you actually get some good orbs for the actual team, you don't actually need to pop the super type of Shanks here. However, if you get the quick variation, if Zoro turns into the quick variation that he can turn into, I would highly recommend using the Shanks super typing, because that's all Zoro really does. He just changes his color into either Sai or Dex. Sorry, Dex. And if he turns into the Dex color, you really want to make sure you activate the Shanks super type, because you will not have enough damage, unfortunately. But if it's Sai, you actually can get the damage if you have enough investment, and you get a very good orb roll. If you get the super tandem of Shanks as well on this particular stage, like we actually can get, you will be able to do the damage easy peasy. However, for myself, I was just a little bit cautious, so I wanted to activate the super type of Shanks to turn the enemy into a strength unit, so that way I really didn't have to worry too much about the damage there. So hopefully sometime today I'll actually do that. There we go. Like I said, especially if the enemy is a dex unit, like, you really want to make sure you actually activate that. However, I sort of goofed here, and I didn't tap in a very good order. I left Shanks to the last, but as you can see, like, if you turn them into, like, strength units, you are going to be absolutely fine. On the final stage against UTA, once again, we get 8 turns of attack down. 8 turns of attack down. But this time, we're not using the waifus, so, there's that. You lose all of your buffs, too, so you can't carry buffs into the final stage. And you get 2 turns of despair, as well as 4 turns of attack down if you're below a certain chain multiplier. So with Luffy and Jozu, we can automatically remove 3 turns of attack down, which is great. We can get a chain boundary with the super switch of Yamato and Ace. And then we can get a 2.75 times attack boost with their special. But before you use their special, you want to make sure you activate Sop Sop. Because if you activate Yamato and Ace's special, you're going to get a much lower conditional boost, as they can give that guarantee to the burn enemy. So make sure you switch with Sop Sop, activate Sop Sop first, so you get the resistance debuff, as well as the conditional and the base stats through their special. And then with Brook, once again, we can remove 3 turns of attack down and get the chain multiplicative buff as well. Then we can activate Yamato and Ace. Yamato and Ace can actually give us 2.75 times attack boost. You really want to save that Uta special to the final, to the end. I totally forgot she gives a chain boost until this very moment. So make sure to save her to the very end. So this is not going to really reflect how much damage this team actually has. You can then use Law for an orb boost. You then have Ben Beckman and Lucky Roo to increase the orb buff to a 2.8, as well as the chain boundary to 2.75. And then Shanks should give you the 1.6 times, the 1.4 times chain boost, and the color affinity as well, which works out pretty nicely. Now, as you guys will see there, it does about 7 billion damage without even hitting with 2 of our units. And once I tested this team again, it does well over 10 billion. However, there is another team that I have been cooking with, and it's working quite nicely. But that's going to wrap up the video. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, make sure to go down there and belt the like button for me if you're new to the channel. Hit the big red subscribe button, but most importantly, wherever you guys are in this beautiful world, please remember to enjoy the rest of your day. As always, homies, I thank you for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Let's